everybody. So here we
Hey.
are. Tonight we wanted to talk about success partners and how awesome it is to have a success partner, but also just to give you an idea of what it is and how it works for us, and just kind of talk about our relationship as success partners, so that you can kind of have an understanding of why, like the whole, Beachbody community highly recommends this, and like we have found out that it's really really beneficial. And so, but it wasn't necessarily something I think that either of us were really looking for at the time. It just
Right.
happened, I think.
I know it's funny because I think I didn't even really know what a success partner was. I just thought like, oh, it's like a friend, or I said, oh, maybe my sister-in-law will be my success partner. But what I found is that you don't necessarily you really shouldn't have your direct upline be your success partner. And also I've found that if I had had my sister-in-law be my success partner, we're very close in a lot of ways, and I probably wouldn't have had the same experience. And just in a general sense, we'll talk about it a little bit more, but in a general sense, having a success partner who is not super close to you as far as your upline, downline goes, and also like Alana, you and I didn't even really know each other much before this, so I think that's actually been really good for us because we've been able to get to know each other as success partners and not have any other sort of prior knowledge going into it. Do you know what I mean?
Right, exactly. Yeah, and so actually maybe this is a good kind of transition to talk about like what it is.
Yeah.
So basically, like, you're looking for somebody who isn't in your upline, or a coach that you have sponsored, or who has been sponsored by one of your coaches, because that relationship is more of like a mentor mentee relationship, no matter where you are within the lineage. And so you're looking for somebody parallel to you,
Right.
who is, who has the similar goals and who is moving towards a similar destination as you, so that you can really like bounce ideas off of each other. You can, but you're at the same time, you're not feeling like, it's somebody in your upline who has more success than you, or like you want to feel like it's somebody that you admire and somebody that you look up to, that and respect, but not necessarily somebody who is that much further along than you are.
Right. Like I still go to Melissa with some questions, especially when it comes to things where I know, she's had years and years more experience. So I might have a general question that she can answer real quick. But when it comes to more brainstorming and checking in and kind of accountability, that's where the success partnership has really been nice because, yeah, I mean, like Melissa basically acts as my upline now, and she does check in with me from time to time, but she's not going to babysit me. And as coaches, we need to be like sort of take charge of our own business, and having a success partner we were saying at the beginning, is almost like having an accountability partner, where you just kind of keep yourself in check. And that's kind of where we started, because I mean, Alana, we met each other in person over that weekend and just saw each other on the team page kind of. And I think it's really important to note at the beginning, if you pick someone, first of all, one thing you did, Alana, was you were like, let's set up a phone call, or we might have Zoomed, and we talked about like what we were looking for in a success partner, because you don't necessarily just want to say, oh, sure, to the first person that you cross paths with. You want to see if you have similar goals, if you're looking for similar things in a success partner, to make sure you're a good fit.
Something else we talked about was like how we want to be held accountable and what we'd like from the other person. So like when we first started out, it was like, would you mind auditing my page for me?
Yes.
Letting me know what my posts, come across as, because if they're crappy, like I'd like somebody to tell me.
Right. And it started off really simple. Like, remember we were like, all right, let's check in every Friday, and just like basically list how our week went. And it started off so basic. It was like, oh, hey, happy Friday. I'm at SC, whatever. I sent out this many invites, and can you look at my post? I don't know if it's good. It was like,
So, and it started out because we didn't really know each other that well.
Yeah.
So like Amy and I met at the leadership retreat last June that Melissa put on in New Hampshire. And so we spent the weekend together and we sort of knew each other, and we sort of like, we clicked a little bit. Like,
For sure. Yeah, we definitely clicked.
Chemistry. You know, we had similar goals, and I thought that you were like unbelievable because you came in and were like, now Success Club 10 every month. And I was like, who is this girl? But like, and so, you know, I obviously, you know, you want somebody who's going to push you, and
right.
you also want somebody who is really who you connect with. And I guess where I was about to go before I got sidetracked by myself was maybe not necessarily somebody that you already know really well, but who you can tell your story to this person, because like every time you tell your story, you hear it again for the first time because you tell it in a new way, and maybe you hear something new about your story. And so you know, to get to know somebody, like it's a growing experience for both of you to get to know a new person and then to like build a new relationship with that person versus having a relationship that you already have, maybe
preconceived notions and schema about that person. Yeah, I remember both of us wanted to work on being like going a little deeper in our posts, for example, being more real. And both of us kind of were checking and balancing each other, saying, "Oop, that your posts this week seem a little surface level." And I have to admit, you were even better about noticing and commenting on that. Like, I think I was almost like holding back and afraid to. Yeah, and so you just being like real and saying like, Amy, I think you need to push yourself, and that was just really helpful, because if we had known each other like deeply before that, you would have already known all that stuff, so you would have not necessarily been looking for it. But coming from a pair of fresh eyes, you're like, Amy, I want to know more.
Right.
So
something else I want to mention that just popped into my head is, and this kind of goes back to personal development, but you kind of have to get out of your own way when you have a success partner, because the whole point is to have somebody who's going to push you and who's going to tell you when you're sucking wind, tell you that you need to just like man up and get your shit together and do better. Conversations, and I was like, I don't want to hear that.
Right.
Sometimes, like, you know, that's why we're here, is to grow. You know,
right.
Somebody who's gonna push you to the point that you're gonna be able to grow from the experience. And to do that, you have to be willing to grow, and you have to be willing to get out of your own way.
And I think you really have to find the right balance of personality too. That, because I imagine there are some people that if I was having a hard week, they might be like, okay, tough shit, Amy. Sorry. Tough, whatever, Amy, get your shit together. Oh, I said it again. But I think we got really lucky, and we found just enough like compassion or like understanding of like the busy, also working full-time life balanced with the push. And I think some of that goes along with the fact that you and I are both working this business, I'd say more than just like, we're not just like part-time hobby, you know what I mean? But we work it really hard. But we also have children at home, and we also work another full-time job. So not that you have to find someone whose life exactly mirrors yours, but finding someone who has maybe a comparable, similar amount of time that they're putting into the business, so that when you're talking, you can identify with kind of like the struggle of how to put in similar amounts of time. Does that make sense, do you think?
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good point. Because if you're and it kind of goes back to how hard you want to push. Like, you want to find somebody whose path is similar and parallel to yours. Because if you are really gunning, and the person that you have as a success partner really is more of just, they want to cover their shakes, they're just sort of like, you're not going to be challenged. It's going to be more of that, almost like the mentor-mentee relationship. And that's not what this is.
Something else that just popped into my head that I like is I think it was in October, November, But Alana, you and I both kind of dove into two very different trainings.
Yeah.
And I kind of told you about the one I was going to do, and you told me about the one you were going to do. And then all along, you and I shared little snippets of what we were learning, which was actually really cool because I'm doing one training, you're doing the other. What's that?
We need to get back to that.
We do, actually. But like we were able to be like, oh, this was a really cool thing, and like tag each other, and we tag each other and post like, watch this, do this. Mm-hmm. And it's been really fun doing this Teen Cup group together too, I think.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, most, everybody, like, obviously, my coaches are in this group, and Christy's in this group, who's my coach, and Amy, having you in here with two of your coaches.
Yeah.
Like, it's really a good way to just kind of like build the energy in here.
Right.
Right. Because, we have, it's and it's funny, I've noticed this, like, in some of the groups that Melissa's done with her success partners, like the Build Your Volume group that she did, and the training that she did with, the trifecta training that she did with her two success partners. It makes it much more collaborative, and, you can build up that energy, and you can get people really excited, and,
yeah.
And it makes it much more fun.
And it is kind of cool, like, for you and I, it's been the two of us, but you can see that there are different ways to make it work. Like Melissa has two success partners. Mm-hmm. So the three of them are like a success pod. And, from their trifecta video, you could hear that they are at slightly different places in their journey, and they're not all exactly the same, but they just work well together. They push each other, and they bounce ideas off each other without necessarily feeling biased. Like if I was bouncing ideas off Melissa, or, like you said, it would either be a mentor relationship, or I would wonder, if it's an upline, downline thing, you wonder, okay, what's your, I don't know how to say what I'm saying, but like you wonder, are they saying this because they're hoping I'll get the volume or the success club points? Or are they saying this because they think this is the best move? Or do you know what I'm trying to say?
I do. And then the other thing along those same lines is like, I would just feel like I was, like, they have a lot going on. They have other coaches. It's more like, I should be out there finding the answers for myself, unless it's like a really pressing question. And so, it's not the kind of relationship that you have with somebody in your upline to like brainstorm and bounce ideas off of, and
Right. So. Yeah, it's just been awesome. And I like that, what started off as Friday would roll around and we would just kind of list what we had done that week has now become just much more organic, I think. And what? Is Garrett awake? Oh, but it's become much more organic now, and we don't have like, our Friday check-in anymore. It's more like random, hey, how's it going? Or, oh, sorry, I haven't checked in a few days. This is going on. And then we can send each other emails, long emails. Which is nice.
Like, we'll just check in and be like, oh, I watched this great video.
Yes.
This is what it was about. Or I did this training, or...
It's really awesome. It's really awesome. So, and I know there's a bunch of other like great success partner duos in like Team Destination U, like Heather Storm and Heather Cooper are constantly chatting and bouncing ideas off of each other. And I'm drawing a blank, but there's a few others of the, some of the leaders in the group, and it just shows that like you can really push, it can push you and kind of push you outside your comfort zone a little. So it's awesome.
Yeah. No, I love it. I think it's pushed, it's definitely pushed me. I feel like my growth has like definitely made the super steep, exponential. I felt like maybe not necessarily in my business, but personally I've had
Yeah, and I think that's actually important because you and I have both had months where we have said, okay, my success club points didn't reflect it, but I feel like I made great strides in both personal development and, in the business on the right path. Maybe the success club points didn't reflect it, but we're doing this, we're reaching out to this many people. And so if you're going at it alone, you might get like stuck in your head of thinking, yeah, but I'm at SC2 or I'm at SC0. But when you bounce it off someone else, and you can sort of affirm like all these things amazing things you've done, keep going, because it's it's a lot of work, but eventually it starts flowing even more.
Yeah. And another great resource that a success partner provides is when you're having a shitty day.
Yeah.
They are there to have your back and like tell you to get it together, but they know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
They're going to be somebody who is empathetic to your situation, because they know more. Home, and so the dogs are like. Anyway, so they know what your daily struggles are, maybe more so than like your upline coach would be, and it
right.
It also feels like you don't want to just go and like complain to your upline, like
right.
businesses, and so it gives you an outlet to to vent if you need to, but also to know to at least feel heard and to have somebody kind of just like talk you through what you need to go through. And
you're also venting to someone who is actively doing personal development themselves. So instead of just, getting into like a pity fest or whatever and just like a downward spiral, when you're talking to someone else who's also doing personal development, sometimes you can help they can help you pull out of that a little bit, still being empathetic, but they have that basis of personal development to kind of know some of those things to say without being like, oh, you're right.
Yeah. Exactly. Actually, that's a really good point. Like, I have a friend who's done like a ton of therapy and like, he's a, therapist basically all the time. And like my conversations with her are just always awesome.
Yeah.
She's been working on herself for so long.
Right.
And now that like I am doing that as well, like the conversations that we have are just like mind blowing.
Yeah.
To be able to offer that perspective to someone else, or to have somebody come into your little bubble and bring that perspective to you.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I think personal development is so important in this business, because we can get lost in our heads and we're human, and sometimes we think this didn't go my way, or I wonder what this person is thinking of me, or I sent all these messages and no one replied, and all those things that sometimes if we're not careful we can get bogged down by them. And then when you have a success partner that is going through them too, you're reminded this is all very normal, and you can remind each other of like, yeah, but you're inspiring all these other people. Don't worry about XYZ person. Think about all those other people that you have inspired every day. And sometimes you just need to hear it.
Right.
And the other thing is, you and I think this is important. Going back to kind of our first conversation of talking about what we were looking for, you had a success partner briefly before me, right? And I did too. But it was just kind of a dud, and at least for me, nothing really happened. And that's also partly my own fault. We just were like, okay, I'm your success partner, I'm your success partner, yay, we have a title. We didn't do anything. So I think it's important to say, like, if you decide to find a success partner, like, make a point of making it happen, because it's not just a title. But at the beginning, you do kind of have to make a point to like make it become something, or else it's just going to fizzle out.
Right, it is. And it's like, we were talking about this before we went live or started recording, but like you don't have to force it, but you do have to, sometimes it does feel like that. It's like, oh yeah, I got to check in.
Right. But that's okay, because like a weekly check-in isn't a bad thing, and it might end up being a little bit basic at the beginning, where you're literally just checking in and listing your stuff and saying good job to each other. But it's sort of like a challenge group where you have to check in.
Right.
So I knew I had to check into you, and so that was kind of good and motivating. So that's where it starts, and then just like a challenge group, the more you start checking in with these people, all of a sudden you get these connections, and it's kind of like that. But you just kind of have to do it at first, because you're not going to be like instant best buddies.
Right, exactly. Like your chemistry is going to develop over time with the person
Right.
that you start to work with. And it's not going to, it's like any relationship. It's not going to be the chemistry that it is, for us. It wasn't this at the beginning. And
No.
over the course of our success partnership, like it's going to change.
Right. But it's funny because on the team call, Melissa's team call earlier, I don't know if you saw my son on my lap, and he was looking at all the people, and he was like, who's that? And I said your name, and he goes, I know her name. And he goes, she's your best friend on the team. And I was like, that's really cute, buddy. So like he knows, and I think he's heard your voice on audio messages a bunch of times. And so it just starts to become like, we just send each other audio messages all the time, and get back to it like 8 hours later, because we're both like also working. But yeah, so anyway, I think people maybe could comment below this if they have questions, and if people need help matching up. I think it's possible Sarah and Erica on my team might be in the process of finding success partners or a success pod, but like we said, you never know if it's going to be the right fit. So always be on the lookout. And if you need help finding people, like either ask us or post in the team page, or just be on the lookout,
And I guess if I could offer a couple of just like starting out tips is like, first, like get really clear with what you want from a success. Because you want to make sure that your needs are met and that you communicate what you want with somebody. Because if you're just relying, it's like any relationship, like, don't assume that the other person knows what you want if you don't tell them.
Yeah.
So make sure that you know what you are looking to get out of a success partner relationship, and be clear about that. And if it doesn't seem like it's going to work, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Say, sorry, I don't think this is going to work. Like, you're not going to hurt anybody's feelings. Everybody, if you do, then, that's not on you.
Right. Exactly. And exactly, because maybe their feelings would be hurt, but everyone's feelings are hurt sometimes, and then we have to do personal development. And really, in the long run, it wouldn't be beneficial to anyone to have a success partnership that wasn't a good fit.
Right. Exactly. And then the other thing is, if it's not, if you feel like you do connect with somebody, but like it's not, maybe if you're not getting as much out of it as you feel like you could, I would encourage you to really open up to the other person. Like, I know everything about each other.
Yep.
And, we've kind of like dug into some topics, like earlier when Amy was saying, like, we wanted to kind of really, as we were showing our most authentic selves, is like, you can't get enough feedback, or you can't get adequate feedback from somebody if they don't know you well enough.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to really open up to this other person. Share with them as much as you can, and connect with them as deeply as you can, because it's really going to benefit your relationship.
I actually forgot until you said that after our initial Zoom call, we sent each other like a really long email each, right?
Shared our life story.
We literally,
days.
If you had printed it, it would have been like 7 pages or whatever. Yeah, we did. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Huh.
So it really helps. It helps a relationship. It helps you encourage your success partner. It helps your success partner, provide feedback to you.
Yeah.
And it really, there's nothing bad about getting deep with somebody about your goals and your life and where you've come from and your history and your habits and your fears and all that stuff.
It's actually good practice, because those are all part of your story that you may want to share in your posts, breadcrumb over time, and you just kind of like brain dump it all to each other, and then you can be like, oh wow, like you can bring that, you can make a post about that, you can make a post about where you've come and where you are now. Mm-hmm. In a way, it's almost like you're doing an interview for each other and getting some information about yourself too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess those are our best
Mm.
practices for as long. I don't even remember. Like, how long have we been?
I don't know. I don't know. We love each other, and you should find success. We hope you find success partners like this. Yeah, we've been on for a while. We should probably.
I know. Here we are. Okay.
But I did make, so for tomorrow's Team Cup challenge or of the day, it was to watch this video. So
Perfect.
yeah, or one of the videos in the Success 1x3x5 group, if people are in there. So
Okay.
watch this.
I'll get this posted tonight.
Okay, awesome.
Thanks, everybody. And yeah, if you have any questions, post in the comments below and we will get back to you.
Yes. Good night, everybody.